The disturbing firebomb attack in San Francisco, authorities say targeting the home of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, one of the leaders in artificial intelligence. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, San Francisco authorities are investigating a brazen firebombing attack at the home of Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, one of the leading artificial intelligence companies in the world. A law enforcement source says this image obtained by the San Francisco Standard shows the suspect.
Someone threw a Molotov cocktail / sticky bomb at the gate of Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI's residence.
Police responding to the home shortly after 4 a.m., that Molotov cocktail setting an exterior gate on fire. Authorities say the suspect fled before officers arrived. Then less than an hour later, a second incident, this time at OpenAI's headquarters.
There's a subject threatening to burn down the building. Security sees subject holding a jug. Claims there's kerosene in it.
Police say they recognize that.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news as we come on the air in the West, and it's great to start with some good news tonight. You saw it here live on ABC just a short time ago. The crew of Artemis II splashing down off the coast of Southern California, completing their historic journey around the moon and back. Just moments ago here, our first look at the astronauts emerging from the capsule from Integrity after their historic mission. The first humans to fly to the moon in more than 50 years. And this was the extraordinary moment they emerged from the capsule after re-entering the Earth's atmosphere, the blistering heat, 5,000 degrees, and then those crucial 13 minutes until splashdown. With America watching tonight, the astronauts on the Orion capsule re-entering the atmosphere, right on schedule, of course, the heat shield holding, and then those beautiful parachutes deploying. Exactly as NASA had predicted, splashdown occurring at 8:07 in the east, 5:07 in the west, right off the coast of San Diego. The crew will now undergo post-mission medical evaluations on board the USS Martha. NASA beginning.
Houston Integrity, splashdown, sending post-landing command now.
Splashdown confirmed.
Copy splashdown, waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon, a new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
U.S. officials are warning of a new phase in cyber risk, driven by artificial intelligence. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Fed Chair Jerome Powell recently convened Wall Street leaders over concerns about a powerful new AI model from Anthropic. It's called Mythos Preview, and it may represent a turning point. Anthropic says the system can autonomously find and exploit software vulnerabilities, including so-called zero-day flaws, which are unknown to developers and highly valuable to hackers. In some cases, these bugs have gone undetected for decades. The model can also chain together multiple weaknesses to gain full control of systems, compressing complex vulnerability research into minutes, often without human supervision. That capability is why access is tightly restricted. Under a program called Project Glasswing, companies like Microsoft, Alphabet, and NVIDIA are using the tool defensively, racing to identify and fix vulnerabilities before attackers do. But risks remain. Less than 1% of the flaws identified so far have been fully patched. And as AI accelerates both defense and attack, the window to...
This is a life-size model of the Orion spacecraft. Throughout their mission, it's been their home. And you can see just how cramped it is inside. Can you imagine 4 people living, eating, working and sleeping in here? It is configured to match the layout of the capsule while it's in space. So right now, the seats are down, ready for re-entry, and the team are going through an extensive checklist to get it ready for this moment. This spacecraft has kept the astronauts safe for their entire journey, but now it's got to bring them home. And this down here is the part that has to do its job, the heat shield. The spacecraft will be hurtling through the Earth's atmosphere at 2,700 degrees Celsius. That's half as hot as the temperature of the sun. There is a lot at stake.
The last astronaut, Commander Reed Weissman, now off the front porch and almost into the second helicopter. Both now on their way back to the ship where we are, the USS John P. Martha, just west of San Diego in the Pacific Ocean.
'This is a life-size model of the Orion spacecraft. Throughout their mission, it's been their home. And you can see just how cramped it is inside. Can you imagine 4 people living, eating, working and sleeping in here? It is configured to match the layout of the capsule while it's in space. So right now, the seats are down, ready for re-entry, and the team are going through an extensive checklist to get it ready for this moment. This spacecraft has kept the astronauts safe for their entire journey, but now it's got to bring them home. And this down here is the part that has to do its job, the heat shield. The spacecraft will be hurtling through the Earth's atmosphere at 2,700 degrees Celsius. That's half as hot as the temperature of the sun. There is a lot at stake.
This is breaking news. The American and Iranian delegations just arrived in Pakistan moments ago to begin negotiations. But before the talks have even begun, you have Iran's Speaker of the Parliament issuing this statement saying two of the measures mutually agreed upon between the parties have yet to be implemented. Ceasefire in Lebanon and the release of Iran's blocked assets prior to the commencement of negotiations. These two matters must be fulfilled before negotiations begin.
There are checkpoints like these dotted around Islamabad, and all this security, the roads that have been kept clear, it's because of how high level these talks are. You've got US Vice President J.D. Vance turning up, as well as Iran's Speaker of Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf. But it's still unclear what will come of these talks. We weren't even sure both sides would turn up. At least that question has been answered. But what both sides are saying publicly is still very far apart, and it doesn't add up. Part of the reason is that what they're saying is directed at audiences at home. They're trying to shape the narrative of this war, even frame who begged who to turn up to the negotiating table. But they also still don't agree on some key issues. Iran's nuclear program is a big one. Iran wants to keep enriching uranium. There's also Iran's bank of missiles. It's a huge point of concern for the United States, and even though that bank of missiles has been depleted, Iran can still deploy them. And of course, there's the Strait of Hormuz, that vital shipping lane that Iran has learned.
So are you going to run again in 28?
Listen, I might. I'm thinking about it. I know what the job is. And I know what it requires. Look, the American people have a right to expect that anyone who wants to run for office and be a leader, that it can't be about themselves. And what they want for themselves, it's got to be about the American people.
Some breaking news. Iran has shot down an American drone, and this could restart the war. Well, a few moments ago, America's best drone, worth over $100 million, just declared an emergency situation as it was flying over Iran. According to flight tracking information, about an hour into its flight, it emitted a 7700 code, the global distress signal. And then, only moments after it did that, whilst it was flying over the Persian Gulf, it disappeared, and we lost the tracking information. And that is exactly what happens when a drone gets shot down. We've seen it time and time again, and this isn't even the first time it's happened over Iran. But the reason this is such a big deal is obviously because there's meant to be a ceasefire. At the moment, we don't actually know who shot down the drone or what happened. Iran has not taken responsibility for it. And to be fair, because of the ceasefire, it's unlikely they would. And of course, it is completely possible the drone could have just crashed. But because this is America's best drones, the most modern MQ-4C drones worth over